to let y'all know, free joint. I was in the studio like 2 days ago where I heard like 10, 15 joints. This joint is crazy.
All right, big up to Freeway and Cameron's album. It's stores, y'all. Tomorrow, make sure
man,
y'all
go pick that up, baby.
Keep the whole
Shout out to
Rockefeller
Dame Dash
joint.
and Hoffa too, man.
Huh?
Dame Dash and Hoffa, man.
Okay.
Other CEOs.
What do you think about Jay-Z saying this is publicity?
I mean, it's just how I feel. If you listen to the song, if you tell me anything I'm lying about on the song, then I'll be more happy to admit to say that that I'm lying. But if everything I say from the beginning to the end is basically true, and publicity for what? My album doesn't come out till the end of April, beginning of May. Like, you're gonna be able to wear shorts. We have furs on today. Time my album comes out, you have shorts and tank tops on. Publicity for what? I don't need a publicity stunt on me.
Competing against one another and showing people who's the best has always been a part of hip-hop history since its early stages. Back then, it was all about who could rock the party the best and who had the best DJ. Then it transitioned to the MC, the master of ceremony, and who could rock the mic the best, which caused people to battle each other and see who could come out on top. From legendary battles such as Busy B and Kool Moe Dee, to KRS-One and MC Shan, to Biggie and Pac, to Nas and Jay-Z. Rap seems like it's one of, if not the only genre of music where wanting to be the best is ingrained in the culture itself. There has been many beefs and battles in hip-hop history, but one such battle that I wanted to focus on today was Jay-Z versus Cam'ron. The reason why I chose this was because I feel like when people think of Jay-Z's beefs, they think of him versus Nas. And when people think of Cam'ron beef, they think of him versus 50 Cent. I also saw maybe 1 or 2 videos on this topic, and longtime viewers of this channel know that I like to talk about things that other people don't really like to talk about, whether it's stories, artists, etc. I lightly touched on this beef in my Cam'ron video, which I'll put a link in the description too. I was also inspired to make this video because recently I saw that awkward interview with Jay and Cam'ron on 106 & Park back in the day that I played at the beginning of the video, and I can just sense the tension between the two. I'll put the link to the full thing in the description so you can see what I really mean, but you can tell that them two weren't really fond of each other because they had little slick comments and jabs at one another throughout the video. Another thing that inspired me to make this video was an article from 2010 via MTV where they broke down the Cam'ron vs. Jay-Z beef, which I'll also put a link in the description too. Before I get more into the video though, I would just like to say that I appreciate you guys for being here and watching this, because you guys can be doing a million other things right now, but instead you're here with me, and I thank you for that. If you guys like the content, you guys should like, comment, and subscribe to the channel grow. I reply to pretty much all of the comments, and I love going through them and seeing what you guys think. Also, follow my Instagram too. That would be greatly appreciated. You guys can DM me some video ideas or just show some love. Without further ado, let me get back into Cam'ron vs. Jay-Z, the Battle of Rockefeller. In 1995, Jay-Z formed Rockefeller Records with Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke. Biggs and Dame are both from Harlem and Jay is from Brooklyn, which we'll touch on that later. Jay would go on to independently release his debut album, Reasonable Doubt, in June of 1996. This album debuted at number 23 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling 43,000 copies in its first week. After this album, Jay would drop In My Lifetime Volume 1 in November of 1997. This album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 charts, and it sold over 138,000 copies in its first week, which was almost a 100,000 sales increase just a year after his debut album. Jay's next album, Volume 2 Hard Knock Life, was released in September of 1998 and sold over 350,000 copies in its first week. Since this album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 charts, Jay has never dropped an album that hasn't went number 1, and this project sparked one of the biggest hits of Jay's career at the time and even now, with the song Hard Knock Life, which debuted at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Jay-Z was scorching hot at the time with all this success while Cam'ron had just released his debut album. It seemed like ever since Biggie died in 1997, Jay was really gunning for the throne of being the best in New York. Cam'ron really got his name buzzing when Mase got him to write for Little Caesar's part on Lil' Kim's song Crush on You in 1996. When Cam was coming up, Biggie Smalls really wanted to sign him, but unfortunately, Biggie would pass away, as we all know. Before Biggie passed though, he reached out to Lance Rivera and he talked about how he wanted to sign Cam'ron. But now with Biggie dead, Lance still took Biggie on his word about how great Cam was and signed him to his label Untertainment, which was distributed by Epic Records. Cam'ron would go on to release his debut album Confessions of Fire in July of 1998. The album debuted and peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling over 107,000 copies in its first week. Cam'ron's name really started to bubble with this release and went on to release his second album named SDE, which stands for Sports, Drugs, and Entertainment. Yo, like y'all killed me for saying it wrong in that Cam'ron video, bro. Yo, it was an accident, man. Players mess up too, bro. It was a complete accident. Literally, when you freaking Google it, you see what it says. So it was obviously me just freaking recording it so many times, and I just slipped up, and I just never corrected it. But it was a real life accident. I'm sorry. People make mistakes. SDE, though, was originally supposed to be released in 1999. But however, the project was pushed back until 2000 and many new songs were recorded. The album was finally released in September of 2000 and peaked at number 14 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling 73,000 copies in its first week. Also, there is a song on this album where people think Cam was taking a shot at Jay-Z when he said, "Cars impounded. New York must stop biting and start writing and start malice. When the F we started bouncing." People think Cam was referring to Jay-Z's song Can I Get A, where Jay asked listeners to bounce with him. After SDE released, Cam'ron started to learn and understand the music business more, and he had someone inside the business telling him what Epic Records wasn't doing for him and what they should be doing for him. Cam called upon his friend Dame Dash, who he knew from Harlem, to help him get Cam out of his deal, because I think Cam was in a very, very bad deal. Like, I want to say that Cam was in like something crazy, like a 7-album deal. Like, God, 7 albums. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that's like your whole career worth of albums. That's like insane. But him and Dame worked out everything, and now Cam was on Rockefeller Records.
A top rap star is busted.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
We're going to have to skip back a little bit to November of 1999, when Q-Tip released his debut album, Amplified. A few days later, after the release of the album, Q-Tip would celebrate the release with a party in Manhattan at the Kit Kat Club. Prior to arriving, Jay-Z held his own party and listening event for his upcoming album, Volume 3, Life and Times of Sean Carter. There was one problem though. Word began to get out who may have allegedly had a part in bootlegging and leaking the album, but for some reason, Jay kept hearing Lance Rivera's name, and allegedly, Jay blacked out with rage and Lance Rivera was ultimately stabbed. Now, there are multiple conspiracies about this night and the stabbing. One theory is that Jay-Z didn't even stab Lance, and the other is that the stabbing was never about bootlegging records, and instead it was about Charlie Baltimore, because allegedly Jay was trying to get with Charlie Baltimore, who actually used to be Biggie's girl before he died, and Lance just simply wasn't having it. I'm not here to say which is true and what isn't true and all that, because for one, I wasn't even born yet, okay? Like, I was not there, and I was not even born yet. As my mom was there, I wasn't even thought of, okay? So, but there's multiple sides to every story. Cam'ron said in an interview with DJ Who Kid, and even in a record, that the stabbing was over Charlie Baltimore, but Charlie denies it, or just simply says that she doesn't know what dudes be stabbing each other over. Also, how it connects to Cam'ron is that, of course, Charlie and Cam'ron were both under Entertainment at the time, and Lance Rivera was stabbed, and Cam'ron was under his label, and Lance had a big part in Cam'ron's early music career. In 2001, Cam'ron demanded a release from Sony Epic, and he would go on to sign with Roc-A-Fella Records later that year. But there was one major incident that occurred in 2001 that really sparked tension between Jay and Cam.
Kanye sells us a few beats. We watching the BET Awards. Jay-Z about to perform his new single, and he gets up there, and it's the beat that we brought from Kanye, which will now be H to the Izzo. So now we steaming.
Just Blaze had the beats laying around, so we in the studio every day.
And Just Blaze plays the old boy beat.
The old boy that was Jay record.
Can't just the up. We took that. That was ours. Strong arm. Good looking Just Blaze.
So, as you guys can see, that the beef really got going over the Izzo beat. And in return, as Get Back, Cam took the Old Boy beat, and Jay was supposed to be on the remix for Old Boy, but Cam took off his verse and deleted it entirely. Like, yikes. Like, I guess that he might have thought that Jay's verse was just like lazy, or he just simply just wasn't feeling it. But to delete it altogether, like, yikes. Like, that's just wild. But Cam then released his third studio album, Come Home With Me, in May of 2002. Cam and Jay did collab on the song Welcome to New York City though. And that man, that song, hard. Okay, I remember as a kid playing that True Crime New York, bruh, like, and that song was the intro, crazy. Like, first off, the game is crazy, but that song, crazy. But yeah, like, that record in itself has a weird history because the beat was actually originally meant for Freeway, and Joel Santana was supposed to initially have a more prominent role in the song. Also in 2002, while Jay was on vacation, little did he know the surprise that he was going to be met with.
When they first got there, it was a little tricky.
Roc-A-Fella gave the Diplomats a label, and we gave State Property a label. But Cam was moving a little quicker than Beans. I told Beans, I'm gonna make you a vice president. Cam, I'm gonna make you a vice president. But the way a boss does, Cam went to the radio, quick, just when we were discussing it, and told the whole world. We hadn't even negotiated it. So now, everybody on the label, I'm talking about everybody, is like, what, I gotta ask him for videos now?
They was Dame friends, so I guess the tension between Jay and Dame came. They was trying to give Cam a vice president position or something like that. And Vito was out of town, so when Vito flew in, he was like, whoa, what's going on? We was cool, like State Property and Dipset got along. We was all coming from the same place, so there wasn't no tension between us.
We always were bosses. Now we on Roc-A-Fella. We like, what do you do?
It was like, nah, Dame like a big brother. We going crazy in this shit. You can't tell us no. Who gonna tell us no? We went dumb in Roc-A-Fella.
There seemed to be friction in the camp.
You knew something was going on, but you didn't know the severity of it. You didn't know how bad it was.
In 2004, Jay-Z, Dame, and Biggs would go on to sell their 50% interest in Roc-A-Fella Records to Def Jam. Jay-Z was now made president of Def Jam, thus taking control of the label. Basically, the label was split in two, and people had to either go with Dame and Biggs or go with Jay-Z. As you may already know, Cam and Dipset sided with Harlem, and they sided with Dame. In 2006, though, the tension got brought to a whole other level when Cam dropped You Gotta Love It, which to me, like, that song was one of the most underrated diss songs of all time. Like, I feel like people don't really talk about this song enough, and man, like, this song is just wow. Like, I seriously felt bad because Cam was just wigging. He was wigging out. And to break down this whole song bar for bar would take forever, but I'll go into a few bars. First, Cam lists off 5 reasons he made the song. The 5 reasons are that Jay stole Roc-A-Fella from Dame, Jay-Z stole Kanye from Dame, Jay-Z stole Rockaway from Dame. He said that before Cam'ron was infamously shot prior to this song dropping, that the person threw up a diamond sign, which Jay-Z and people in Roc-A-Fella are known to throw up. And the last reason, he talks about how I guess that Jay-Z claimed to be an 80s baby, but he was born in 1968, which is false because he actually was born in 1969, but hey, it's close enough. He also hilariously poses the question of how could Jay be the king of New York while he was rocking sandals with jeans, open-toe sandals with chancletas with jeans on, like, man, like, pure comedy. Cam also accuses Jay-Z of biting a bunch of Biggie's rhymes, which people have argued about for years over was he biting or was he paying homage. There's a hilarious 6-minute video on YouTube where it shows songs that Jay allegedly bit from. But hey, I'm just saying, people got mad when I said that in the Cam'ron video, but I'm simply just posing a question, like chill out, like. But my favorite line, and you gotta love it, is when Cam goes, "We put you underground, clown. They gonna check the cellars. I know he's 40 years old. I don't respect my elders." Like, Cam is mad childish, man. Cam also said in the song that the only reason Jay got to the top was because he kissed up to people. I know a little earlier I said what my favorite line in the song, but the wildest moment in the song is when Cam started talking about Beyonce and how he had her singing about crack on his second album. And this man even put the vocals of her doing it in the song, like, savage. Like, I know that this was before Jay and her became a couple, at least I think off the top of my head, but still, like that line still hit. In 2006, Jay-Z was prepping to drop his comeback album, Kingdom Come, and Jim Jones released the song Kingdom Done. In response to this, Jay-Z replies with his song Brooklyn High, in which he says the line, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't." I personally think that this line is very hard, but I also think that sometimes numbers don't tell the whole truth. Like, they don't tell the full story in some cases. But altogether, it's still a good line though. Also, he rapped over the We Fly High beat. And I can't lie, like, he did cook Jim Jones. Like, Jim Jones got slaughtered, butchered, all that. Jay would go on to release Kingdom Come in July of 2006. And on the song Dig a Hole, he raps, "Dudes like Ho, why don't you get that old boy? Why kill a puppet and leave Geppetto alive? Why not wait to catch them all together? That's why you dig one big hole one time." In 2010, Cam and Jim Jones released the track Toast Freestyle, which was over Kanye's Runaway beat, and they threw shots at both Jay-Z and Kanye. In 2013, Jay-Z featured on Drake's song Pound Cake, and he said the lines, "I've done made more millionaires than the Lotto did. Dame made millions, Biggs made millions, Ye made millions, Just made millions, Dior made millions, Cam made millions. Beans to tell you if he wasn't in his feelings." Basically, Jay was saying that he introduced many people to the life of fortune and fame, though they haven't always returned the favor for him. Cam would reply in his song Come and Talk to Me, where he says, "She said Jay made you a millionaire and looked me in the eyes. Said cake, 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 got that from the pies. We made each other millionaires, that was my reply. But had a meal before I met him, baby, that ain't no lie." After this, there were little jabs back and forth, but the beef between the two seemed to be deaded in 2019 when Jay brought out Cam for one of his concerts. They had some words before the show and a little after the show, and that was it. They aren't the best of friends by any means, but they aren't the worst of enemies anymore also. To me and many people, they think this beef was just a battle of two egos, which majority of rap beefs are about. I do think that 1-6 in Park interview is very telling of the difference between the two. Cam'ron shouted out mad people and even big upped Freeway and talked about his upcoming album, while Jay mainly only talked about his album. By the way, like, that Philadelphia Freeway album is nasty. Oh my god, filthy. Okay, that album is literally just no misses on the album. I don't care what no one says. Pure heat. Freeway was on one, that whole album. But anyways, yeah, like, the two just had two different personalities. Y'all saw that Jay said in Pound Cake that he made all these people millionaires. But Cam said we made millions together. Keyword we. All in all, what do you guys think of this beef? Thank you guys for tuning in into the video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help the channel out. Peace and love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right, peace.